Yo,
We are
yo,
back.
yo, we're back. We're virtually back.
Yes,
MIA
yes.
Radio,
Got Zoom vibes,
episode
quarantine vibes,
104. We had to bring in a special guest via Zoom. It
one
was
and only.
the one and only the
Uh,
mayor of Tampa. I could safe to
yeah, pretty
say,
much.
safe to
Chill,
say,
Tampa's,
yo.
Tampa's best.
Tampa's
Tampa's
Chill,
best in the
best.
building.
DJ Koo in the building. What up?
chill. What's
What's
up, guys?
good, bro?
I miss you
Good,
dudes,
man.
man.
I know,
I know,
brother.
I know.
Oh,
I was
Florida,
actually,
Florida boys in here, bro.
Florida
yeah,
boys.
right. Like Florida, because you are in Florida, man. Like, I mean, you're Florida, man.
Florida man.
I feel like Tampa's has slowly but surely caught up to Miami.
Tampa was out of control this weekend, bro. I don't
Oh,
know, man.
especially after this weekend.
Yeah,
This was
yeah. I mean, that's the big reason. That's the big reason why we wanted to have you on is you can, give us a little recap. I don't know if you want to get to it later. You want to get to it now. I mean, off the rip,
I mean,
pull the band-aid off.
it's y'all's show, man. Whatever you want to do, man.
I mean, let's definitely get right into Tampa Bay Bucks won the Super Bowl, and the Super
Right,
Bowl was in Tampa Bay.
right.
Yeah.
So, and we're still in the middle of a pandemic, so it must have been an interesting time over there, to
Yeah,
say the least.
absolutely. I kind of feel like our mayor just kind of like almost like turned a blind eye to shit. Like
Yeah,
it's wild because like I don't know. I'm sure you guys saw me tweeting about this kind of shit too earlier. Like she's been like hella like on bars like to fall within like the local COVID guidelines and ordinances and
right,
shit. Like she's been real on top of it. Like having clubs like even in Tampa and St. Pete like closed down for the weekends. Threatening to suspend liquor licenses. All this crazy shit. Um, I mean, not crazy, but you know what I'm saying. Like she's just been on
right.
top of it. But I feel like this weekend it was kind of just like we're not paying
Yeah,
Right.
attention
it's like a
kind
different
of
She
thing.
just saw the
tone.
money coming in, and
Yeah,
Exactly.
I feel like once she saw the money come in, she was just like her whole tone like flipped up, or
right.
changed, just like hold on, sorry, I gotta turn this do not disturb on. Yeah, she came at it from this angle like, well, we're still gonna. She made like a local ordinance where in high volume areas and high traffic areas like Ybor and Soho, which you guys have been to, like you have to have a mask on, even if you're like outside, like on the street in between bars, or you could have faced a $500 fine, up to a $500 fine, but not one fine was given out. Like
Right.
I
nobody
mean,
got nobody got arrested for it, and she came at the situation more like basically like we're looking at this from not from an enforcement perspective, but an encouragement perspective, kind of like we believe in you guys to do the right thing,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I mean it's fucking Florida, man. Florida man, bro. Like nobody
yeah.
listen to that
And it's
shit, dude.
I mean, and it's not even that. It's bro. It's the fucking Super Bowl, so you have people from you
Yeah.
know everywhere, all over the world. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, obviously
I
Tampa Bay is,
I
but
double masked this whole weekend, man.
yeah,
yeah,
and it was in Florida, so people out
Yeah,
of all times for a Super Bowl to be in Florida, people were like, "Yo, like that's an excuse to head to Florida, where there's
yeah,
like pretty
yeah.
much
yeah.
no restriction."
And on
I
top of
feel
that,
like
too,
you have
like what we were saying earlier, like the first Super Bowl being played in their hometown, and on top of that, they
insane.
won. Like the energy was just like people just.
Yeah,
Did you think it was gonna be that
it's
wild, like coming into the week?
Yeah, like I knew it was going to be wild regardless, just because it was a home game. It was like if they win, people are going to wild out. If they lose, people are still going to wild fuck out. Like you know what I'm saying?
right.
Like there'll be riots and shit. Like I knew it
Yeah,
was going to
if
be
Tampa,
wild either way, but I didn't think it was going to be like this wild because it was crazy, man. Like even outside of the fact that we're in a pandemic and pretty much nobody gives a fuck no more, which is terrible.
right,
Like just the influx of people and like the crowds, the over excess of the influx, like I said, the people into Ybor and Soho and all the party areas in Tampa was just like out of control, man. Like it was crazier than New Year's. Like it was crazier than Gasparilla. You guys know what that is. Like
Yeah.
it was like
Yeah.
those two things put together in like a 5-day block of parties. Like
Right.
it was
Yeah, I mean,
crazy, man.
we had it here. We had it here last year, and
Yep, I remember.
it was like WMC level of partying, you know, and that's like the calibrated, you know, like it's on that level of we are partying this much. There is this much, like you have to plan this much ahead, you know, like the parking rates went up this much, you know, and I couldn't imagine it being the local team and the pandemic like surge, you know, like the pandemic surge of like people wanting to go out even more. So it's like a triple
I feel like
add-on. And
last year there was a lot of like more. I mean, there's definitely parties, but there's more like networking events and like different types of like panel discussions and like little types of different events. But I feel like this year, man, maybe I'm wrong because I wasn't there, but Tampa was just like, yo, like let's just party because like we haven't partied.
That's pretty. I mean, that's pretty much what it was. But it wasn't even like on. I mean, for the locals at least, I can speak for like it wasn't even on some tip of like, oh, we're partying because we haven't partied. Like, nah, it's Florida. We've been open.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you guys have harsher rules down there in Miami, but as far as like Central Florida, like Orlando and Tampa, like everything is just like.
But yeah, well, I hear we have a curfew, and I mean in Miami we have a curfew, but Fort Lauderdale is open like normal, and we're up there either working or whatever.
Oh, I am up there. Fort Lauderdale's open all the way.
Yeah, Fort Lauderdale has like a lenient 1 o'clock that ends up being 4 o'clock. You know, like some like Amstel closes at 1, but you know a lot of other bigger venues close at 4. You know,
Did any other
you're in there.
My bad. Go ahead.
No, and when you're in there, you're in there. Like if you're at the ones that close at 4, it's like you're in the devil's lair. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Did any of the venues like hit you up prior to give you like a rundown, or they were just like, "Yo, good luck"?
What do you mean?
Like, were there any venues that were kind of trying to follow protocol, quote unquote, or it was just like, "Yo, we're
nah." Okay. See that, yeah, that's the thing. Like, there are a lot of venues that I work with that take it more seriously than others. There are some that just don't care, and then there's also some that didn't care but got hit with, you know, tickets and fines from the city that now they're taking it more seriously. So it's like, I think the problem with Florida, to be honest with you, is just like, for lack of a better word, like our governor's like kind of just attitude towards the whole thing, and just like, you know, I get that he wants businesses to be open, but like him going as far as to say like, you know, local government can't enforce like a mask like rule, you know, so they do these like little ordinances where they say they're going to fine you, but they don't actually fine you. Like what happened this weekend. And it's like multi different levels of government that are just not like agreeing with each other. So no one really knows, like, you know what I'm saying? Like at least that's how I feel here. It's like people are treating it differently. You know what I'm saying? Like some people are more serious about it than others, and some people are just don't give a fuck.
I mean, from my experience in here in Miami, like here it's just very, you know, money driven. Like that's it
for sure.
And going into the winter and having the snowbirds and New York being shut down, like people are here. Like I played at a brand new venue opened by New York promoters, you know, like literally just rich ass promoters.
You know what's crazy is I had this conversation with I forgot, either Casper or Flocka or someone up here in Tampa, another homie, DJ homie, and we were talking about like just like what we're seeing happen now, which is wild. Is it's not even just Florida too. Like I know homies that are moving to Texas too, but DJs are like relocating and moving to other cities. Like I'm sure there's an influx of like a bunch of new DJs in Miami, because there's a bunch of new DJs in Tampa, bunch of new DJs in Orlando. Like
I've seen a few, like we've, you know, with the homies, like I've met a few, and I had one come up to me the other day and he was like, hey, you know, the typical, I wasn't DJing, my boy's playing, and I was about to get on, and he's like, yo, like, what's up? Like, you know, I moved here from LA, blah, blah, blah. And I told him straight up, I'm like, yo, man, look, if you have it set, if you have a plug, if you have a business, if your boy owns a restaurant, if Grutman is your brother, like if you have that in, whatever your in is, if you have it, awesome, cool, move here, set up shop, run with that in. If you want to come out here and start all over again, don't, because nobody like the guys that are born and raised have been here. A lot of them aren't even working yet, so it's like,
I mean, even before the pandemic, to
yeah,
move just
right.
on like knowing someone is tough to build up all over again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in Texas, like things are open, but it's the same thing,
Yeah, they got rules in Texas too, I heard.
Yeah. I mean, but it's also the same thing of like you're going into a market that's limited as a new person. Like what's your in, what's your catch, what's your like walk into the guy. I mean, sorry, approaching the DJ in the booth during the pandemic is even worse than doing it pre-pandemic,
for sure.
But at the same time, I think it's kind of dope that like Florida and Texas and these places are getting that, like not only DJs, like you see comedians moving, you see like all these creators moving, and like it's kind of building this dope little, like, all right, like now Florida and Texas and Georgia are like the cities and the states to be like going to work. Forget LA and New York. Like we don't need that shit no more. I mean, obviously not to that extent, but
right.
it's cool to see that.
No,
yeah, chill.
But it's. I think I mean I've seen it a lot here. I mean, here in Miami, they're building the fucking Spotify pre-COVID. They were building the Spotify headquarters and whatnot, and a lot of the Wall Street stuff and what is it? All this fucking
there's a lot of money being invested in Florida. Period. Like even like right now, like I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, like what's been happening in Tampa too, but like our skyline is literally doubling right now. Like there's this whole project downtown called the Water Street Project that like Bill Gates is involved in and shit. Like there's a lot of money being pumped into the city right now, man. Like it's crazy. Like just seeing like how Tampa's changed and like how, for lack of a better words, like gentrified certain areas are becoming now, like they moved all these like project housings, like literally demolished them, moved all those people out to make room for like food halls and shit like that. Like it's wild. Like you just see it happening like right before your eyes. Like Tampa's like the fucking center of the universe right now, man. Like with the Super Bowl and shit and them winning and like all this crazy shit happening. Like it's just, I don't know. It's wild.
No, it's dope. Like I see it out here. I mean, like for us, well, I know Zea saw it. World Red Eye posted something about everything coming down, but to us, it's like we've been here. You build a name in Tampa. You're the guy in Tampa. So like when these businesses come up, it's always, I see it as a good thing. I'm like, the more businesses and the more creative shit comes to Miami, like the ones established, like we're gonna be the guys. So it's just gotta
definitely
benefit from it. So
I just hope, what I think, like I just hope people don't like lose sight of the fact that we are still in a pandemic. Like I'm pretty vocal about this shit online, and just like it's just so like frustrating to see sometimes. Like, and people get it twisted too. It's like oh, like what are you complaining about? You're working, you're making a check off this, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, yo, I'm not mad that we're open, like I'm not mad that people are going out. I'm not mad that these businesses are doing what they do to have to survive, basically, because bro, how many clubs we've seen and restaurants we've seen close, like just on a national scale, bro, like clubs that we've all played at that are just no longer there no more. Like Scenario in Pittsburgh, like closed, man. Like fucking all these spots closed, man. Like it's crazy. Like, so I don't really necessarily blame them for wanting to stay afloat and doing what they doing what they have to do to stay afloat. But it's just like, like don't lose sight of the fact that this shit is still going on. Like I don't want to be like the fucking, like if we've been given this opportunity to be open and still make a living and like do what we do to survive and keep a roof over our heads, like do so responsibly. And you know what I'm saying? Like just because we're open doesn't mean that shit's just like gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like wear your mask, like be as responsible as possible is like basically everything that I've been saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can.
No, yeah, 100%. And like with us, I mean, in Miami as a whole, like I feel like most venues have gone through a cycle of, they open, a lot of them went ham, and now they're like, well, they pay the price. They either had mad people get it or they got in trouble or whatever. But places like Blackbird are pretty abiding. Like they're abiding everything and in this, like, as much as they can, up to the person's discretion or whatever. But
that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like certain venues are just taking it more seriously than others. Like,
right.
And have you turned down gigs because of venues you think are just like being careless and not really giving a fuck?
I haven't necessarily turned down gigs, but I've made it known, like, my view on it and how I feel like they should move. I've definitely made that known. And ultimately, like, what's ended up happening with some of these venues that just didn't give a fuck at the beginning, like I said, they got slapped with fines, and now they are taking it more seriously. So it's literally like what I've been saying all along. Like, yo, like, if we're lucky enough to be open, and we're one of the few spots in America where DJs like us can still make a living. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't take it for granted. Like,
right.
Be as responsible as possible. That's like literally like the whole message that I think people need to embrace. Like, because a lot of people have this attitude of like, it's like, oh, fuck it, we're outside, we're open, like, Florida, we're wilding, like, nah, man, like, you know what I'm saying? Just, we've been given an opportunity. We shouldn't fuck it up, because ultimately, like, they can take the shit away if they really wanted to.
Yeah.
And it's not even like outside of the fact that our governor doesn't want us to close. Like, I don't know if you guys remember that whole thing that like the Florida Department of Business, or DBPR, came up with a couple months ago, where they were like trying to limit the sales of alcohol, like, in venues. Like, there's other ways that other branches of government can get around the governor's rule, like, just because he says that businesses are allowed to open with zero consequences, or zero capacity limits, or zero mask ordinances, whatever it is. Like, there's other avenues that people can get shit shut down. Like, even locally speaking, like I said, our mayor has been gunning after people's liquor licenses out here, like, which it's actually going to be really interesting to see how she moves after this weekend, because this weekend she didn't give a fuck. Once she saw that Super Bowl money, she was just like, oh, we're going to encourage you guys. But, I was like, all right, well, that pretty much means that.
In Miami, that's pretty much how it's been since the winter started. Like, there's been no talks, like the mayors, like nobody, like, there's the curfew. That's it. Like, the curfew's on until 12, and that's it.
And that's just in Miami, not Miami
just
Beach.
In Miami. No, yeah, Miami Beach, everywhere. Like, everywhere in Dade County. Like everywhere.
All right. Okay.
But once you hit Fort Lauderdale, it's I think it's 1:00, but it's not enforced. Because we had that fake curfew first. We had the fake curfew where it was like till 12, but then like Tootsie's sued the city, and then people weren't enforcing it because
there's a lot of venues on this. There's a lot of venues on the same tip right here. Like, a couple of venues I know in town that have gotten tickets, and they've just lawyered up and are just fighting it. And
and there's that loophole that when you're fighting it, they can't enforce it or something like that. So a lot of venues
I've
here.
Heard that,
yeah.
Have you
seen? A lot of venues were going.
My bad.
No, you didn't know.
I was gonna ask, like, speaking of like those venues, have you seen any venues like kind of thrive during this time and kind of maybe do things that they weren't doing before, and now they're in a weird way
thrive?
Yeah, not
like do thrive. It better.
Yeah, like I don't because there's places that were
in Miami,
that weren't as popular and weren't maybe on people's radar, but now since like the audience has kind of switched to like you got to go to like restaurants, you got to go to like these brunch spots, they're like killing it.
Yeah, there's a couple promoters in town that kind of pivoted to doing like day parties and brunch parties, and those kind of took off during this for sure. Definitely, I've seen way more like popping brunch parties than I've seen in the past for sure.
Yeah, in Miami, like what Zea was saying, has happened a lot in Miami. There's venues either like little bars that either are not giving a fuck and maybe they had like bigger competition, but those venues aren't open or those venues are doing more restrictions, that they're booming better now. You know, like there's a spot in Brickell that is fucking killing it, but normally, you know, everybody's a Blackbird. But now that Blackbird is, you know, limiting more stuff, they're booming and they're not following anything. And the owner told me, he's like, yo, like we're doing better numbers now, you know, like
I think that's like I think that's like, a product of your guys as being like a bigger city though, because ultimately in Tampa, like we're a fraction of the size that you guys are. So ultimately, like there's only a limited number of venues that you can actually go to that people would frequent. But I think, like I said, I think the only difference is like I'm seeing like more brunch parties and parties at restaurants and shit now. Yeah. But as far as like clubs, like it's pretty much the same spots. We're not that big.
Yeah.
So, but I'm happy that, you know, the majority of my my residencies are doing extra steps, you know.
Nice.
That they aren't required to, but just are. Like for example, like the Ritz, I'm at the Ritz like all the time now, or Fridays and Mondays, but they do like half capacity, you know, they require you to have a mask to get in.
Right.
There's another venue here. I mean, you guys are from Crowbar, where Old Dirty Sundays is. Like Tom, the owner of that, is probably the most on top of it than anyone that I personally even know. And you know, he's been canceling stuff left and right just because it's just like it's not safe. And I give him a lot of respect for that. It takes a lot of balls to do that. It takes a lot of mental fortitude to stick with that, especially with the amount of money that these places have been losing. You know, so
yeah, that's how
it's such a double-edged sword, bro. Like it's wild. Just this conversation is so much bigger, man. Like because it really is. Like I see DJs hating on Florida like all over the internet, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's like
I mean, I tweeted the other day, and I was gonna ask you this. Like I've gotten kind of like a lot of dry hate, and I've gotten like, it's tone. Like it's like a weird tone, you know, like certain kind of jealousy, kind of like. But you know, like you're always posting, like you're always like out of all the DJs, you're messed up the most. Like you and Paul. I mean, like I'm always messed up, but you know, I'm not gonna lie. Like I have my slips. We all have our slips. Whatever.
Yeah, we all have our slips, bro. Like, but it's only human. But it's just like it's just your attitude towards it.
We exactly, and we take our precautions. And at the same time, like you know, you get tested all the time. You know, I get tested all the time. But there's like this kind of dry, tone from certain DJs, and it's like, dog, if fucking your little shitty ass town was open, you would be doing the same thing. Like don't be on some dry shit because you're not paying my bills. You know, like so it happens a lot, and it's you know it's fucked up. It's fucked up because it's just jealousy. It's like straight jealousy. Like dog, like,
it's definitely part jealousy. Yeah, it's definitely like, part jealousy. But it's also like, you know, it's kind of like
frustration.
Yeah, like frustration. Thank you. Like
frustration. Yeah.
Like I understand their frustration. Like I get it. Like having to see all of us down here fucking wide open. We're still doing our jobs. We're all still DJing. Like nothing happens. It's gotta be frustrating. I get that. 100%. I get that. Which is why, like, I try to go out of my way to let at least people that follow me know, like, yo, this shit ain't over, bro. Like I want us to be seen as doing the most that we possibly can given our circumstance. I'm not saying like, yo, we shouldn't be open or like being nightclubs are bad things. Cause I mean, at the end of the day, this is their business, bro. Like you can't blame someone for wanting to keep their business afloat. You know what I'm saying? They've put their entire lives into this pretty much. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy to just tell someone to just be like, yo, close your shop up because, you know, whatever. Like, just do it in the most responsible way possible. Don't just have this callous, like, oh, fuck it, we're outside, nothing matters anymore, we're open kind of attitude. That's literally like all I've ever been saying this entire time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because I know you're right, man. It's got to be frustrating for other people to look at us and just be like, yo, fuck these dudes, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it, man. Like, I 100% get it. Like, I want people to know that Florida isn't all Florida men. You know, there are people out here like us, like myself, that are trying to move and navigate this as responsibly as possible, because ultimately, like you said it perfectly in your tweet, to be honest. Like when I read it, I was like, you know what, he's 100% right, man. Like this, we're all trying to navigate this. Everyone's trying to navigate this, bro. Like no one's necessarily right, no one's necessarily wrong, because everyone's got their own battles, their own sides, and their own frustrations and minimums and to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, and at the end of the day, we don't know what everyone's going through, and like, I mean, we're lucky that we live in Florida and we DJ in Florida, but if your circumstance was different and you were in Florida or you were in another state, you don't know what you would be forced to do or not to do or whatever the case is. So it's like,
yeah, 100%. I mean, like, it's also like we're a year into this already too. People's like unemployment has run out. Like, one of the first things they ask you when you apply for unemployment is, has COVID blocked your ability to do your job? And with everything open, what's that answer now? Like, I mean, technically, no, it hasn't, because it's there now. You know, like, a lot of people can't even like get that shit no more. It's like, because we don't have an excuse. It's like the shit's open. It's wild.
But I mean, man. That's like the harsh reality of like, all right, like, I mean, and I think everybody hit a point where it's like, okay, I have to figure it out, you know. So I don't understand that mentality from DJs. Like, I don't know, like,
there's also like this. Continue. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, if you haven't had that like conversation with yourself yet, you know, you're in. Like, it's. I think it's time, you know, like.
100%. It's just, but people are so high strung these days, man. Like, just trying to like find fault in like everything you do, anything you do. And it's just like, man, like.
And that's the thing.
We're all human, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? As much as I preach about, you know, trying to keep people masked up as much as possible, like, I understand that you got to take it off to have a drink or have a shot. You know what I'm saying? I understand that there's going to be some moments where, you know, you might get caught slipping, but the point is your attitude like that 24/7, or is it you fucked up here and there, or is, you know what I'm saying? It's just your mental attitude towards a situation. I think that people, especially DJs in Florida, should kind of, you know, be more attuned to.
Right. Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, it's, and I think overall, because out here there's, you know, like I said, there's venues that wild out and went back to it, and now they're, you know, they follow their own standards, because it's whatever compromise they've had with the city, with the cops, with the staff, with the patrons and everybody. So as long as the flow is good and, you know, things keep going that way, everything will slowly.
Well, I mean, what about you guys though? Like when you guys are out DJing now, like, are you more worried? Are you more like,
Zea doesn't DJ.
More like,
I mean, I'm just about to start DJing again, so I haven't really been out DJing. But it wasn't really of a COVID worry or something. It was just like I was taking the time to kind of focus on other things and see how everything played out. But like, I mean, everyone's different. Like Ka said, like, yo, it's been a year. Like now I'm like, all right, I'm ready. But you know, things aren't what they used to be either. So
there's so out here, I mean, like Zea has other, you know, business stuff and other things. So like, you know, there's a lot of other guys that you know, I smoke on here? Yeah, you can do whatever you want, bro.
First time.
Yeah, first timer. I mean, I was outside earlier, you know.
But that's like I said, man, that's a testament to just Florida's unorganization. Like, nobody's on the same page down here, you know.
I want to ask you, and I don't know if you know this is going on out here, but like, how's the illegal rave? Like, how's like the illegal party scene? Or do you know of any?
You know what's crazy? Like, you know what's crazy is that I don't see that happening as much. You know,
really?
And I think I had this conversation with my boy Prince, DJ Royal One from LA, like, because I'm always hearing about like you know, like I've seen like house parties in LA, like on IG stories and shit like that, like just wild, like uninhibited, like hundreds of people in houses, you know.
In Miami, there's raves. Like
yeah, I've seen people's IG stories in Miami too, but You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think people are doing that in Miami because you guys have a curfew?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
and
right.
dude,
Like,
in Miami, dog, the raves are on Eventbrite. Like I get emails about the
what?
raves, like
Damn.
on Eventbrite, and they don't have a location. And once you buy it, whatever, and they're usually $100, 50 to $100 open bar, and you can get a promo code or whatever, and then they email you the address, a couple hours before. And I've gone to them. Like I'll tell you, I've gone to them, and it's
Mhm.
wild. It's insane. And in
Yeah.
Miami, there's it's crazy. I was talking about this yesterday. The people that are out right now are like we even call them like the super spreaders. It's all the young 20, 21, 22, 23-year-old kids, like that regular Miami crowd does the day shit and that's it. Or does
Mhm.
the raves or does like but the ones that are trying to find it is like that young, super young crowd. Like and
You
it's
know what's
crazy.
wild? I feel like that's like a whole other conversation, like in itself. Like the the more the more regulations that there are in certain cities, the higher chances are that people are going to be throwing illegal shit and
Mhm.
wild house parties and just like shit with absolutely zero sense of restricting or enforcing anything COVID related. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
prohibition. Once you make it something
No,
illegal,
it's
or
it's
yeah,
it,
right. I don't even see people doing that out here. To be honest with you, like
dude.
I'm sure it happens on a small scale, but nothing like like because I've seen some wild shit in Miami, man. I've
Yeah,
seen people stories
yeah.
that go out there like there's people buying like tables in people's living rooms and shit. Like, like I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
I was like, yo, Miami is wild right now.
No,
Turning
Miami,
whole cribs into clubs, man. Like,
dude, in
bro.
Miami, like in Miami, there's literally like Yelp $ tiers of like where you want to go and what you want to do. Like
yeah,
from renting a boat, you can dog if you have 20 rats, you want to rent a boat, get girls, get this, jet skis, all the fucking shit. Like you can do that. And then you can go to the
hmm
club and go to a dinner spot. Like, there's what I've seen a big influx in, and this is dude, I'm gonna find the tweet that I said almost a year ago. And now it's kind of like turning more into the real New York shit because there's so many New York the restaurant slash high end lounge is booming in Miami because
hmm
they get you with the restaurant, so it's a high like an expensive meal, and then they get you with the bottle service. So
hmm
the high end shit is popping in Miami. Like there's venues, restaurants. I played some that are like, it's fucking multi millionaires popping bottles, going ham because that's
yeah.
their Disney World. So
Have you been like more conscious about what you post on online now?
a little
He's,
bit. I mean, I went dark for a little bit. Like I just didn't want to really post, and then I went ham the
I
other
feel
day.
like
But
he's been the opposite during all.
Yeah,
it's yeah, but
yeah,
on IG, okay, on IG, I don't post. Like I posted this girl fucking spraying CO2, and she's like on top of me, and a few people replied, and I'm like, yo,
Oh,
I'm
you're
where
talking
I'm
about
at
like club stuff, like while you guys are working, like posting
around
it.
this
yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you were
Yeah, I
talking
don't
about
post.
Twitter.
Like I don't post the crowd. Like I don't post the crowd a
Yeah.
lot of times. Like I think a lot of DJs have ripped the band-aid off. Like a lot of guys here, they'll post the crowd, they'll post everything one out, like all the shit. And like I'm doing my shit, but I'm posting it. I still have
Yeah.
friends in other markets that are, and also it's read the crowd, like read the room, like I'm not gonna post that shit when I got homies that are,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like going through it
that's the
and
thing. Like,
also
I
like
haven't been working as much as you guys, but like, I don't think I just would feel kind of silly like posting like, "Yo, look at
yeah,
this dope party," and like you're in like
Yeah.
fucking LA in your couch for week number
Yeah.
200. It's kind of like, or
right.
you're on Twitch
Yeah.
streaming, which is cool, but like I'm in real life. So it's like I don't know. It's like a weird. I feel bad for those guys. So like I can't really. I'm glad that we're able to, but I'm also not like, let's celebrate this shit. Like look at
Right.
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, it's a lot has to do with with the climate of things, and that's how I feel because I have friends in cities. I mean, I have friends here
Yeah.
that post the wildest shit. Fucking
Yeah.
recap videos. I'm talking about fucking dabbing the door guy
Like
recap video. like diving the door guy recap video.
It
Like
goes back to what you say, like
goes with the mat, like the
it goes back to like the
why?
attitude where it's like some people are looking at this like, yo, I'm working and like y'all
Yeah.
sleeping. Like, look at me, I'm out here doing it every night DJing. I'm like, that's great, man. That's awesome for you. But there's a lot of guys that aren't, and it's not something like it's just
Yeah, I mean, I post. I mean, I try to be kind of motivational with it. Like I post, yo, I'm working, like go and get it, like, but I'm not flexing. You know, I'm not.
Yeah.
nah, but like you're saying, that
yo,
recap DJ vid was already
recap
old,
video.
but now
Recap. Dabbing, yo, the bouncer has the tube. You know, the bouncer has the whole tube, and you're dabbing him up. First of all, that's not CDC right there. That's your recap video. During pandemic recap videos. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, why? You know, but
it's. I mean, you know, like part of the thing that I've been saying too. Like, I feel like us, like as DJs, we are in some sort of like position or focal point in nightlife where I feel like we should all be trying to set the best example. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, especially us, because we are in like the positions that we're in the spectrum of nightclubs. And what the hell was that? Oh shit. Oh, what happened? All right, am I here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we should be trying to at least try to set an example, you know? Like I remember I was on some shit like a couple weeks ago. One of my clubs got closed down because of they just got too many fines, and I was off my residency from them for like a month, a little over a month, I think. And part of the thing was that I was like getting like on other DJs about here. I was like, yo, like if the local thing, if the local ordinance is saying that the employees have to be masked up, why are you in your video not being masked up as an employee of the venue? Like you're helping your own place of work get shut down. Like I know everyone that's working in Florida is grateful to still be doing what we're doing because so many other people are unfortunate and can't do it. So why would you just like I said, like why would you completely act like this isn't a thing? Like it made no sense to me, bro. I was like, yo, why are DJs posting videos of themselves in their own venue with no mask, helping their own venue, like helping the city get like this? That's ammo for the city to be like, look, you guys work here, you're not even following these rules. Like, of course we're gonna fucking try to go after your liquor license. Like, it shit makes no sense to me. I was like, what are y'all doing? Like,
you know that
for real.
It's funny. It's funny that you say that because like when I DJ and you know I'm honest, like there's certain spots that I play at that I don't wear a mask. You know, I'm by myself. I'm like, whatever. But anytime that any kind of video, anytime, anything like that, wherever I'm at, even if I'm like over there, I usually try to just have it on just for the sake of the venue. And you know, because of some
but this is what we were saying earlier. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong, like we're not fucking saints out here, you know, we're not fucking perfect human beings. There's gonna be times where we fuck up, you know what I'm saying? And that's cool, but if your attitude isn't, you know, fuck it, it's not real, like that's the whole difference right there, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just wild to me. Like it's crazy. Like I got hate for that shit by like some. Hold on one second. What is that noise? Do y'all hear that? Or is that just me?
Yeah, no, I heard.
It's like a party in the background.
Party, yeah, exactly. Like, what rave are you streaming? You know,
I don't know what that is. I don't even have anything open here. This is wild. Oh, I know what it is. Hold on one second. Give me 1 second. Sorry.
No, but what you're saying is definitely, you know, I think that's a really, really big factor because I've been talking about that a lot, and I've been saying, you know, that goes hand in hand with even, you know, booking. Like you can't, if you have that kind of mentality, and then you wonder why, you know, like that's why. It's a big reason. It's a big reason, and it's overall it's a team effort. You know, it's a team effort.
Yeah, 100%.
I've had that approach with a lot of the venues that I've worked at off the rip when things started opening up, and I'm like, yo, you know, let's talk to me. Like, you know, if a venue's ever like, hey, you know, we have this going on, or cut the music, like I always tell the manager, yo, like work with me. I understand you guys are under a lot of stress, so like if you want me to do this, or every time they come up to me about, you know, I don't know, like even the music, like I know you've been in that situation, so it's like you're always like, yo, what's up? Like like I'm a human, you know, like I'm here to work with you. So that's the kind of like approach and mentality that you have to have. And I see it now that when people see it from you, they want to work with you even more. You know? Like
it's funny. It's funny too, because it's like one of the, like literally that club that I was just talking about that got shut down, or it basically put me out of work for a little over a month because they were getting slapped with so many fines. Like when they were able to come back, you know, like one of the first things they said was like, yo, be wary about what, in like the little group chat, DJ staff group chat or whatever, they're like, be wary of what you post, you know, like all eyes are on us. Like if you're going to post something, make sure you got your mask up. And I'm in the background of the chat going like, what have I been saying? Like y'all wait until you got closed down for this shit to happen? Like, bro, like be proactive about this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just wild. Like we're living in like the craziest times, bro. Like for real. Like it's just it's the wildest shit that's happening right now, man. Like it's just like I said, man. Like there was DJs that were like coming at me for what I said about that, like mask wise, like local dudes, right? Like taking it like in some sort of like hypocritical fashion where, you know, at the end of the day we're still working, blah blah. I'm like, yo, that's not even the point, bro. Like I'm happy to be working. Like I'm not even gonna front. It's done wonders for my mental health as well, bro. Like this is our passion. This is what we do. We've dedicated our lives to this shit. Like we eat, sleep, and breathe DJing. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what we do. Like I'm happy to still be able to do it. I want to keep this ability or this opportunity to still be working. I don't want that to be taken away from us and have us go back to where we were, because that shit sucked, and a lot of people are still going through it. You know, we're lucky to not be still going through that. Just so treat it as like I said, as responsibly as possible. Like don't be that fucking asshole Florida man, bro. Like this is like fucking open out here, I don't give a shit. Like no, like come on, man. Not all of us are like that.
At all.
Yeah, and responsible. I think responsible is like the best word, because it's not only like physically, like mentally, like be responsible in every kind of way. You know, like think about others.
But like I said, people got to realize also, man, that like we're all human, man. Like stop calling people out for mistakes they make, because at the end of the day, like I said, we're all human. You've been caught with your mask on. I'm sure there's fucking videos of me somewhere of me slipping with my mask down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, but it's like yo, like I said, you're right, man. It's like we said earlier. It's just your attitude towards it, man. Like that's what's going to keep us at least engaged in the conversation with what's happening in our government and the lockdowns and the COVID ordinances and everything that we have to deal with, being hospitality venues that are open. We let them know that we're willing to work to keep this train rolling, you know? Because as soon as everyone has like the fuck it attitude, is that's when people are going to come back and be like, all right, y'all can't be left with this. You're not responsible to handle this. Like, we'll take it away again. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really like everything that I kind of like have made my stance on in this whole shit. But you're right, like you said earlier too, man. Like everyone's navigating this in their own way, man. You just gotta
100
try to make the smartest moves, man. That's it.
Thanks.
You mentioned earlier like how Tampa is kind of like in the spotlight now because of the Super Bowl, and obviously Florida's like one of the few places open right now. Do you think before all this shit, like Tampa as like a DJ market was kind of overlooked? Like I know Kaz always says like those dudes like from Tampa and Orlando that would like kind of claim Miami because they just wanted that look, but then they're from Orlando or Tampa, and then they weren't really repping their city.
Like there's a few. I mean, there's a few. Like,
there's a few. We know who they are. We know.
Yeah,
But I mean, I've never understood that though, man. I really have never understood that. I would never do that. I remember there's a video of me online playing like a party in Cali, and like the announcer or the MC of the night said that I was from Miami, and I had to like tell him I was like, nah, bro, I'm from Tampa. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just I never understood that, man. Like, people get disowned for that shit. You remember? Do you remember? Oh my god, do you remember Kaya? My neck, my back, Kaya. Yeah, she's from Tampa.
She's
but
from
like,
Tampa, right?
Yeah, but she got like disowned out here because as soon as she made it big and she went on BT Rap City, she claimed Miami, and everyone was like, "What?" Yeah, bro. Like,
I mean, it's Kaya. I mean, it's Plies. Where does Plies stand? Is he just Fort Myers? Like, does he do like the
I don't know.
Does he claim Tampa, but he's from Fort Myers?
I don't know because I don't really see him repping heavy like any particular city on the regular. He reps Florida because he's kind of from all over. Like he's from South Florida. He went to school up here or he lives here or some shit. Like, so I mean, I used to see him back when Drink was open up here. I used to see that fool all the time. I'd look over, he's sitting there, bro. He's super nice, bro. Super nice.
I heard
he's a cool dude.
Wasn't he a nurse? Wasn't he like a registered nurse? I think he was like a.
I don't know if he was a nurse, but I know like
he went to nursing school. I think
something like that. He's educated though, man. Like I remember I saw him at a gas station one time. Like I literally just saw him at a gas station pumping gas in a wife beater and like his like fucking Maybach or whatever he had. I don't remember. I just went up to him and I was like, "Hey man, like I'm a big fan. I'm a DJ out here. Pleasure to meet you." And that dude didn't sound anything like his raps, bro. He was like, "Oh, cool, nice to meet you." I was like. It was like that Lil Jon. It was like that Lil Jon episode on Dave Chappelle. He's just like super well spoken.
It's like Michael Blackson. Like Michael Blackson when he doesn't talk with the accent, he's like the normalest dude,
Yeah. But
I always thought.
I think there's slept on talent in Tampa, like 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
And Orlando too. And Orlando for sure.
Yeah, but it's funny, like, cause there's a bunch of dope DJs from Tampa and Orlando and venues too. Like we've been going there for a minute, and it's just funny, like that people just because Miami has that like sexiness and that like clout, I guess, and like imaginary lines separate us. It's like, oh, I'm gonna claim this place, but it's like, who cares, man? Like.
And it's crazy. I find it crazy because like like to us that the Miami look and name is like like so frowned upon, like for us. Like I hate to be on that, like like we talk about like the cheesy like Ocean Drive flyer, like that Miami look to us the most grossest shit. But there's people from everywhere else that want to be that like the flyer with the neon fucking like that's so corny.
How many flyers out of town have you had where it's just like the South Beach neon lights going on in the background?
From Miami
I had
Beach.
One,
from Miami Beach.
I had one pop up on my IG the other day, and I was like, "Yo, like this is so cringe." And I hit it back then. Like I'm from Miami, bitch. Like LMFAO, fucking bold letters. Oh my god, cringe, yo.
Oh man, I can't even imagine when that song was popping. I can't even imagine how many. Just like I'm from Miami, bitch. Just slapped on all of yours.
The shirts,
all your shit.
I'm from Miami, or I'm in Miami, bitch.
But it's dope because you like always rep Tampa and you stayed like loyal to the city. You've been doing it for years. Did you ever think of like moving to a different market, or you were always like, nah, like this is my city?
I had thought about moving for a while. I was thinking about moving to out west. But ultimately, my mom is here, and I like the direction the city is going in now, and I am thankful to be a part of it per se. Like we were talking about earlier, like Tampa's blowing up right now. Like it really is. Like there's so much shit happening here. The fucking Raptors are here right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was booming.
Go ahead.
No, I said no. It was booming. I remember like the last time I was there, the construction all by the water.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, all that area has been booming. So I know that it's just going up, and
But yeah,
what do you see?
we're getting an Edition hotel here, which is like
Yeah,
only in
I
like
remember.
Miami, Chicago, LA, and New York, and then randomly
Yeah,
Tampa.
Tampa.
it's like Hong Kong, London, Miami, and Tampa. You know, like
Yeah, like some random shit. I'm like, what?
okay. So where do you see the Tampa nightlife going? Do you see it more in like a daytime? Like here in Miami, it's very kind of like family orientated in the sense. Like in Miami, you have a lot of venues of people who grew up. You know, like we play at the Wharf, which is outdoor, literally a parking lot that they put a tent over, bar, food trucks, whatever. Where do you see Tampa going? Like the scene wise, or maybe two different scenes? You know.
Man, it's tough to say just because, like I said, like this whole navigating this whole pandemic has just been so wild. Like as soon as you think we're like all the way open, like some shit happens. Like we got shut down, like I said, from that DBPR uh, limit on alcohol sales like a couple months ago, where they all the clubs had to shut down again because they basically said that no one's allowed to sell liquor on site. So it's like, what are we even
Okay.
opening for again? Like there's who knows, man. There's all sorts of ways to get us re-shut back down if someone on any level of our government wants to do so. Ultimately, that's what can happen. You know, like I said, like outside of the DBPR thing a couple months ago, you know, just as recent as one of my nightclubs shutting down for a month because of local fines and what our mayor decided to do. So I don't know, man. I can't really answer that question. Like, I don't know where it's going to go, like in terms of what's open and how open we are. I will say though that just culturally speaking, like there's a lot of like pride in the city right now, and there's a lot of like like you were saying, like people that like left Tampa, claim Miami, but they're back in Tampa this weekend, claiming Tampa again. Like there's like that pride of like being from Tampa right now. Like
That's good.
what's tight about this past Super Bowl weekend is that we had so many like out of town artists and DJs come through and rock all these like crazy huge parties and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? And they were always headlining because they were the out of town guests or whatnot. Like I opened for or closed for Funkmaster Flex the other night. Like just random shit like that. But what's cool is that all the local dudes out here just went straight like Tampa juke sets because the out of towners can't do that. You know,
Nice.
so it was like as soon as the local guys got on, they played all local shit, and then Tampa's got its own swag, man. Like the juke scene out here, the local rap scene is booming right now, man. There's this guy LA the Goat that just got signed to Def Jam and So Def. Like his record's huge. The 8 bands, he got the remix with Rick Ross too. Like that record's huge out here. Like it's cool seeing that like sense of like city pride. I like seeing that. That's cool. But in terms of like nightlife and what's going to be open and what's not going to be open and what's going to be more I don't know, man. I don't think any of us can really answer that with the way that Florida's being run. You know, like this shit can change like tomorrow. To be honest with you,
we just all moved.
Yeah,
to Texas.
I feel like in Miami. I mean, I feel like in Miami, like that fear has kind of moved on. You know, like
it's too late
because of like that threshold. Like there's no going back, especially because of what I was talking about earlier with all the snowbirds coming down and like so much of North money that normally comes down. Now it's even more. You know, so
yeah. Like I said, like our mayor flipped hard, like our mayor flipped really hard when Super Bowl was announced that or when the Bucks won what is it, their AFC match, and they were like, yep, coming back to Tampa for Super Bowl. Like I feel like her whole mindset just flipped. So who knows, man? Like we might even be on that tip after this weekend moving forward, just because there were no fucks given this weekend. Let me just tell you that.
Right. I think in Miami we had what I call like the threshold, like was Halloween. Like Miami Halloween was like, all right, we're going, and then
that happened here too.
Since then it's been like that, and New Year's wasn't as crazy as I thought it was gonna be, but a lot of businesses, I know a business, they told me that they were busier January than December, and it's normally people are broke in January, but I guess people are just still out, or it's getting better business wise, numbers wise in Miami. So we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see how things
and
go.
like I said, ultimately, I hope we stay on this track as a state, and people don't lose their businesses, and people don't have to switch careers and give up their passions, and we can all still do what we do. But
Right.
just try to make sure that you're doing everything that you can do to make sure that we don't lose this privilege that we have. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I think that should be the message that everyone should have, or the attitude everyone should have, should I say.
We gotta represent for Florida, bro.
Yeah, man. Like, not everyone wants to be Florida, man.
Well, yo, I know you had to get going soon, so we won't keep you any longer. But
Bro,
yeah, bro, I want to appreciate you for coming on, jumping on. I know it was a tough week.
No, definitely. Yeah, anytime you guys want to have me back, be Florida men together, you let me know.
We
Florida
might do
boys, a spin-off pod.
Florida.
We should. Yeah, I was about to say we should get someone from Orlando in here too, and then
that's a great idea.
Be a Florida man podcast.
We need to do one. We need to do one with what's his name, Kevin Kahn.
Yeah, Kahn. Yeah, he's the man, bro. Like, props to Kevin Kahn, man. He just won a DJ battle like that someone threw out in like Melbourne or someone like somewhere out there.
Yeah,
on the Space Coast.
Off the air, I was gonna ask you. I've been meaning to ask you because I think A-Rock linked me with him a few years ago, and then I've seen him just like grow up, building. It's dope. And I saw you.
Yeah, he's one of the ones doing it right too, man. He's a young kid. He's got a lot of potential. Dope DJ. He's trying to definitely push the art form forward. It's cool to see, man. Like, it's just when you thought all the younger kids were going straight controllers, CDJ, EDM, 128 BPM all night type vibes. Like, someone like him comes along and just it's tight. It's cool seeing that, man.
Word. Dope.
Yo, plug your socials, plug your website, all that.
Instagram and Twitter at DJKU, at DJKU. I don't really fuck with Facebook too much no more these days, but
no, we stay off Facebook.
Bro, the worst people are on Facebook, man. Like, literally.
You don't want to have sometimes conversations on Facebook.
Oh my God. I don't want to have conversations with anybody on Facebook, bro. It's just filled with the worst types of people.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy that Facebook is still like booming in certain markets, though. Like,
like I still got mine. I'll go in there and post flyers and shit. Occasionally I'll post the status, but like, no.
Mine hidden on my iPhone.
I'm just Twitter and Instagram at this point.
And Clubhouse, bro. Get on Clubhouse.
Oh, I'm on Clubhouse actually. I haven't really like got like heavy into it though. Have you guys?
Yeah, I had to turn off the notifications.
Really?
The first week I was like, once he invited me, I was
my first Clubhouse experience. I joined like some late night chat room with like 500 people in it, but it was like Wiz Khalifa, like French Montana, like a bunch of rappers were in this one room on Clubhouse, and they were talking about the difference between pee and squirt, and I was like, okay.
Oh yeah, well, there's some of that. But
I was like, I see where this app is at right here.
Yeah, but nah, it's dope. You get a lot of little like life hacks and like tidbits here and there from different rooms, depending on where you join. But you can go down a rabbit hole. That's the problem.
We should start like a Florida man DJ room in there,
bro. I want to start a room, bro. I've been in all these rooms. I'm like, yo, it's my turn now. Let's start a Florida boys.
Right. But
let's do it.
Yeah, man.
Vale. Well, bro, thank you so much. Appreciate your time, and
thank y'all for having me, man.
I've been meaning to wanting to come up with some DJ homies to Busch Gardens on like a weekday.
So bro, let me know, man. We're still booking for Mischief Weekly, man. So holla.
Cool. I hit you up with enough time, and we'll see what's good. So
definitely. Thank you guys for having me.
For sure. We out.
Peace.